Yeah, Reiji really said we're ending the year like this, and you know what? I respect it. All right, fellas, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Many of you are probably making your New Year's resolutions at this point. I'm not gonna do that. The irony's not lost on me. With that being said, hi, I'm Vay. I talk about rent-a-girlfriend stuff, and today we're looking at chapter 311. This will probably be the last chapter of the year, and it's gonna be interesting. We're gonna get bunny girls. Yep, that's it. Without further ado, let's mosey. Oh yeah, so from what I gathered, this event is very similar to Comiket in that it's a big sales event. Basically, for those who don't know, Comiket, you'll probably seen it in some animes and stuff here and there, is a very big event where a lot of artists go because it's like the big opportunity to sell things. As an artist, it's something that's absolutely necessary and you kind of have to go to it because it's the big sale event. Except Cosaholic seemed to be focusing more on cosplay, so I think that is something Reiji is kind of trying to go for and explore. There's also an interesting story that I will share a little bit further on as we continue. You guys probably got a little glimpse of it in my last video, so go check that out. Yep, we have in fact seen this image. Reiji shared a very early image of this on his threads. Cosplay and My Girlfriend, Part 2. Chizuru in a bunny girl outfit. It is adorable. Day has been made. Why am I doing this too? Cosplay. It's adorable. He's adorable. He looks so sad and miserable. It's cute. I feel so out of place here. This is supposed to be our booth, right? It's just an empty table. What's up with him? Yikes. Unusual cosplay, animal costume and backpack, nervously sweating. I wasn't given anything else but this stuff. Except stand here and wait. There's nothing for me to do right now. Besides, what's a cosplay event supposed to be like? This is like the bestest party in all of Japan. She's not wrong. She's not wrong. There's Comiket, but Cosaholic is huge too. I mean, I did say I'd help her. There's so many cosplayers and tons of customers outside when I last looked. This might be a bigger event than I thought. And once again, I've got to be extra careful where I look. No, don't be stupid. I've already decided that Mizuhara is the only one for me. That's the 200th millionth time. There's a reason for this. I'll explain it a little later. I'm changing my nail appointment. Is Mizuhara seriously going to cosplay? For real? Just like these girls? Like what? Doesn't that seem a bit excessive? Not that I'm complaining. It almost feels like she's doing whatever Yumori-san wants. It's unlike her. You look like you're the only one packing to go home. It's not my fault you didn't have anything here. Took you long enough. That looks good on you. I'm surprised. I really like the animal costume. You fit right in. Where's Mizuhara? She's taking a while to change, huh? She's still in the locker room. I knew it. She's gonna cosplay. Okay, Master, I want you to take the books out of the box and line them up on the table. Okay. These are acrylic stands, and these are key holders. Yeah, interestingly, if any of you follow the Rent-A-Girlfriend stuff, specifically the anime, you'll notice that they sell these exact kind of things, and they sell quite a lot. There's a lot of acrylic stands, there's a lot of key holders, there's all sorts of stuff like that. So these are a very big deal and very common for artists. Approximately 20 to 10 USD. Yeah, that's also very accurate. Whoa, this is a lot of stuff. Did you make all this by yourself? Well, these events are a sweet source of income for me. Cosplayers gotta do all kinds of stuff like this in order to survive. So, let me point out something to you guys. I never got to make a video properly on the last chapter, but the last chapter, I realized that the core themes of that chapter were agency and money. Interesting pair of events. The reason money is so relevant is actually directly connected to the chapter prior to that, which is when Chizuru goes to her rental job. One of the core reasons Chizuru keeps working the job, one of the core reasons Chizuru needs it is money. And sometimes, depending on how you get money, some people will be bothered by that. Some people will view that as a negative thing. And this is because there's an inherent element of moral puritanism very much growing in our culture and social media these days, especially if it involves anything sexual. In that same way, this is supposed to kind of mirror Chizuru's job. This directly connects to agency because in reality, you'll often hear the phrase, you can't get happiness from money, or money can't give you real happiness. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Money is very core to our way of living. Sure, maybe there is an element of truth to these words, but it's not accurate because you need money in order to have a safe living space. You need money in order to survive, like Minnie says here. You gotta do whatever you can to get the money that you need. Screw what everybody else says. Money is very important. And so what this series does, and has always done from the start, is has this theme of discussion of money and the importance of money. And you can see that interestingly in the removal of money when it comes to Kazuya's living space and him not paying Chizuru, but still the absolute necessity of money and how money is in fact very prevalent. I bet you right now you're not gonna find a series that's gonna discuss it like this one. Like, maybe if the characters are full-on grown adults, but not when they're this young, not when they're struggling and financially trying to figure stuff out, right? Money is very important, and I love that the series incorporates that into relationships because in reality, it is morally gray. It is not simple as money won't get you happiness. No, it does. Money does get you happiness. It's just not always that cut and dry because money is inherent to how we live. Kazuya is getting to experience that through the lens of Minnie's character, but in so doing, he'll start to have kind of a flip of perspective when it comes to Chizuru's job, and in the process, he'll find a new sense of determination in how he goes about talking and interacting with Chizuru. That's my bet. This arc for me is kind of the reverse of the nursery arc. This is my bet for this arc. But to be fair, we probably won't get the answer to this until maybe next year because there's going to be another week break after this one. Right. This is basically Imori-san's job. She's working really hard at it. I hope we sell lots of stuff today. Oh, there you are. Brilliant. It's not what I expected, but it's perfect. It's perfect. Hey, don't leave me alone like that, Minnie-chan. You're so cute! It looks really good on you! I can just leave my stuff in the locker, right? I'll hold on to the key for you. Thanks. Bunny! What's happening? Am I dreaming? Mizuharu's a bunny girl. Text ears? Oh, ears. I only brought my phone with me. Is that okay? This must be some kind of miracle. This is the first time I've seen her wear fishnet stockings, and her skirt's so short. Every bit of her flawless skin peeking through marks a section of supreme sexiness. People are gonna put this down, but do not fucking lie. This is literally how everyone would react. This is literally like the supreme, what is the phrase? What is the supreme territory? I think that's what they call it, or the absolute territory. If the absolute territory is like with the thigh highs, this is the supreme territory. Yep, just standing there with the costume's already doing wonders for me. Oh jeez, you don't have to compliment me so much. Plus, her pristine, immaculate chest has just the right amount of cleavage. Ah, she has a tail. I lack the vocab for this, but it's cute. I mean, when I heard about the cosplaying, I imagined this once before. I never thought she'd actually wear it. Mizuharu wearing something so bold. I can't believe this is real life. Still, isn't she going a bit overboard with this? What's with her today? Yeah, let's do this. We open in 5 minutes. Why is she doing whatever Yomori-san asks? I'm happy to see it though. Who's that girl? They just feel I love that one bunny girl here looks so defeated. In retrospect, I fucking love this shot because it's like Reiji's saying, bro, this ain't some home brand bunny girl outfit bullshit. We ain't going basic, we going fashionable. I'm gonna give you sexy, cute, adorable, and perfect for Chizuru's style all at once. Which does bring me to something interesting. This outfit perfectly captures and suits Chizuru's character. It's not simply just a bunny girl outfit just to make her look sexy, just to be sexy. It's not just a basic bunny girl outfit that's settled, it's an outfit that went all the way. It shows how Minnie, interestingly, understands Chizuru really well and in a lot of ways already planned for Chizuru to show up. Minnie has been with Chizuru this entire time and she planned something perfectly around her character. It's not simply an outfit design
designed by Reiji, it's an outfit that shows how well Minnie understands Chizuru, what her comfortability is, and what Minnie wants to show off. Her fashion, what makes her look attractive. It's not some basic bunny girl outfit, no. Minnie has a fashion sense. She knows when to stay accurate and when to be fashionable and interesting. And you see that juxtaposition in the 3 outfits that all belong to her. You see an outfit that's kind of like a simple, effective, cute mascot. You have Minnie, which is just inherently sexy and simple and straight to the point. And then you have Chizuru, which is a mix of the two. Sexy, attractive, but fashionable and interesting. Each outfit perfectly captures the characters in their own way. Perfectly capturing how Reiji is not willing to settle for less. He commits to the vision he wants to have. And this element of balance and presentation perfectly matches the event and how he goes about presenting it, interestingly enough.
She's already drawing so much attention.
Master, you're not doing anything. You gotta hurry.
Oh, right, sorry.
Wow, I'm a little surprised. Lots of peeps this time.
I knew she's using something to cover her real underwear, but it still makes me look. Oh. We haven't seen Reiji draw Chizuru with like thick thighs in a while. Like this is cute. Chest, cute, but thick thighs here. Damn. God, am I okay? Can my body handle this?
Thank you very much. Signed, line for Koronomaru. Oh, that's her. That's Minnie.
Oh.
Whoa. Yomori-san has a huge line in the cosplaying world. I guess Koronomaru is pretty popular. May I take some photos?
Ah, sure.
A message from Korone. At the event, you can purchase photo books, purchase selfies with me, and other goods. I also do photograph sessions, priced at 1,000 yen for 30 seconds. That's $10. Last video, when I researched Causaholic, I found mostly just kind of horny stuff. Just, hey, look, there's these sexy models and all of these things. In contrast, the way Reiji goes about presenting Causaholic is much more balanced, a lot less extreme. He shows that there is sexy stuff, there is horny things in the event, yes. However, he also shows it very similarly to a traditional con, a con where a lot of people just kind of go to sell things, to do things. It's an acknowledgement of both sides of the picture rather than settling for a simple image. He doesn't just show fan service for the sake of fan service. He shows that there's fan service in here, he recognizes that and shows that, but it focuses on Kazuya. He's not presenting the event in a hyperbolic way, rather he's just showing it for what it is. An event that focuses on cosplay, dressing up, but at the same time it's an event where you go to sell things, where you go to show your brand, your style, what people are here for. It's a professional event that requires work and effort. It's not just there just to be like, hey look, cosplay. It's here to create a brand, to sell your products, to make money, to survive. It's a job that you can have fun with, but it's still a job. He doesn't just simply focus on the consumer side, rather he shows it from the seller's perspective, and how the sellers have to consider the whole picture. In a lot of ways, you can understand Reiji's writing style in looking at these chapters, as they are many ways reflective of what kind of work goes into creating manga. Telling your own story, but also in a lot of ways selling a product, finding that perfect balance and what makes that successful, while still remaining true to yourself. This will be 3,000 yen for a set of old and new copies. A selfie? Yes, please wait for your turn. But Misawa is really good at this. She's a can-doer, a person who can get things done. She must be handling twice as much work as me. Seriously, she's so amazing. She wasn't even prepared for this. She was only asked this morning, and yet she's handling it all so perfectly. It's almost too easy for her. So one thing I want to point out, this job is intentionally meant to be reflective of Chizuru's job. Kazuya is getting to see Chizuru's job from a different lens. I literally called this shit in the last video. At least I think I did. I hope I put that in the video. I had to cut out some stuff, okay? The video was long. Basically, the whole point of the nursery arc is Chizuru is getting to see Kazuya in a new light. Now Kazuya is getting to see Chizuru in a new light. He's seeing how she deals with her work environment, contrasted by Minnie's job, which in itself is a reflection of rental. Well, she's an actress. Maybe she's wore a bunny costume before. I bet no.
But wow, you're really putting yourself out there, Chizuru-san. I knew I could count on you. Right, Master?
Yeah.
Have you dressed as a bunny girl before?
Right. So, quick thing I want to point out. Shadowed.
not saying this out loud. Whenever Reiji uses shadows, there's a meaning to it. Minnie immediately asks what he's thinking. Kazuya could have asked this, he chose not to. It's intentionally supposed to be a mirror of Chizuru in earlier scenes. Sorta. I knew it. She's a mature grown woman. Here I am panicking like an idiot all the time. Interesting, so Chizuru has worn a bunny girl outfit before. I'd also like to take some photos. Okay. Me too, please. Okay. She starts going, oh crap, I need to work. Gotta take stuff out of the boxes. Are you lying to me? She lied. Liar! This isn't the truth. Huh? Oh, what? Okay, we gotta do a spread. It's my first time. Yo. The phrasing is so intentional. So Reiji has been intentionally phrasing certain things in the past few chapters in correlation to sexual desires. When Minnie does the thing with the bra, it's intentionally framed like that so that when you see it out of context, it's meant to look like something sexual. Intentionally so. This is the same thing. Same exact thing. Yeah, it is kind of cute how she's not hidden in shadow when she says sorta, but then here she's like, it's my first time. Right? Huh? Well, we promise not to lie. Ah, it's so cute! It's so cute! It's adorable! Kazuya's like, what the fuck? Look at Kazuya's like, what the fuck? But yeah, this is so good. I love this. I love everything about this. Okay, so this is where I'm going to tell you guys an interesting story. Reiji in the last chapter mentions Comiket. And this is interesting because Reiji is actually going to Winter Comiket. For those who don't know, Comiket is probably the biggest event in Japan. Like Minnie describes in this chapter, Comiket is very important because it's important for sales. A lot of artists go there. Even Kana Hirayama, or Kape, the character designer of Rent-A-Girlfriend, draws art books of her art for Rent-A-Girlfriend, and she sells that art at these events. This is very common, and these events make a lot of money. Again, you need to survive, you get to work out there, more people know about you, and you get to interact with your fans. So, as usual this year, Kana is also selling stuff for any of you who are interested. Just be warned, you can't purchase it online unless you go to like something like Amazon Japan or Tenso.com, which ships from all of those individual websites. Unfortunately, like the link Kana will put on her website is like Melon Books, which unfortunately do not ship overseas. But if you go through Tenso.com, you can actually get it that way. What Reiji's doing is he's actually a vendor. He's actually selling things there. And what he's selling is chapters 220 through 222's original drafts. And this is because the original ending of Paradise played out kind of differently, particularly how the confrontation started. The way it was going to start was going to be rather different. It was going to be more of a slow build-up to the big climax that we end up getting. In contrast, he changed it to be more big and impactful and kind of moving forward constantly. It's Reiji finding a perfect compromise between the readers and the story he was writing. And I think that's what made it so effective. With that said, this is where the story gets a little bit interesting. There's a cosplayer named TZK Continued. Go check her out, support her. Reiji has actually been supporting her since the anime released, where she was just a starting up cosplayer who was just cosplaying Chizuru because she liked the work. And she's been doing it for so long that she's grown very big. She has like 100k followers now on Twitter, which is great for her, amazing. And interestingly, she's gonna be one of the vendors at Reiji's booth in Comiket, and she often cosplays Chizuru. She's probably going to cosplay as Chizuru when she goes there. Just a quick update on this. Reiji's stall literally sold out within 2 hours of opening. Please take that in. This is like any other con. It's a full day event, and they sold out within 2 fucking hours.
Such devastation! This was not my intention!
Damn, this man's popular. And congratulations. Honestly, that's awesome to see. Puts a smile on my goddamn face, that's for sure. The real life mirrors fiction, or fiction mirrors real life. Like the events are literally mirroring each other. I think that's adorable. I think it's even cuter that like we stopped this chapter right before the new year, which is when Comiket takes place at the 30th through the 31st, and it tends to just kind of be something that people go to and have fun with. With that being said, I just wanted to share this cute story. I think this story is really interesting, and now we can kind of get into the chapter itself. Chizuru just straight up lied, just sorta. Like, you can tell she stuttered, she looked away. You can see this in the last chapter, where when Chizuru talks to Minnie, and Minnie bribes her into it, and Chizuru changes her thing, she looks away, and she says something. The reason Chizuru can kind of lie here differently without like closing her eyes is because this is her job. That's what I mean. Literally, this is a reflection of Chizuru's job. This is her first time wearing a bunny girl outfit. So she can lie to Minnie, but she can tell the truth to him. That's the important bit here. Lies and truth, agency. I don't want to lie to him, just like I told him not to lie. I gotta live up to my own standards. Comes down to his level. Hey, I'm not lying to you. And it comes, ironically, as a byproduct of trying to hide something. Something that actually directly plays into the theme of intimacy. There's a subtle idea at play here that's really interesting. Chizuru is trying to hide something really intimate and personal from Kazuya, being that Kazuya saw and held her bra in that chapter 299. And yet the way she opens up to Kazuya about this particular thing, she frames it as a very intimate thing. Her first time. That's something really personal. Just as menstruation is something that's pretty personal. She tries to hide her bra, something that's intimate and personal, and then she opens up about something in an intimate and personal way. I love what Reiji is going for here, and it really hints at the nature of their relationship moving forward. The idea that they're going to be opening up more about intimate things, especially considering Kazuya is dealing with intimate subject matter, being his desires, his jealousies, things other people would perceive as bad. And yet here Chizuru is opening up about her stuff. Interestingly, I also wanted to point something quick out here. This and this. Interesting little shots here. Particularly Minnie being shadowed. Minnie is shadowed because she is showing these people kind of a fake image. This isn't supposed to be a negative thing, please understand. Many of you probably heard the phrase parasocial relationship with YouTubers, right? It essentially means like you're only getting like a kind of relationship with these two YouTubers, not really like an actual connection. This is reflective here with Minnie, with her taking pictures and doing these things. She's smiling, she's happy, but she's not really being her real self with these people. She's being her real self with Kazuya and Chizuru though. Also, I didn't notice this. She comes down to her knees and then she puts her arms down. Then she does this. Damn. Reiji really like committing to the whole sexual element of this. It's not just fan service for the sake of fan service. There's a reason, there's a theme behind it. And at the same time, that conveyance of truth directly connects to that theme of intimacy. And so it directly connects to that whole idea of sex, right? And I love this, just the silence. I love this panel just sitting in silence. It's so good. It's perfect. Well, we promise not to lie. And Kazuya's like, what the fuck? So like out of context, this is really, really funny. Okay, so I was explaining something a little earlier. I was explaining how this arc for me is the nursery arc, but for Kazuya. Flip on that. One of the things that's been happening recently in the past few chapters that I would like to cover in more detail is that Kazuya has been bottling up his emotions and not telling Chizuru how he feels. This whole thing here is really adorable because it shows kind of like the purity of their relationship. They're like little kids. She's like a little kid. It's adorable. It's cute as shit. There's so much element of trust between them that she's able to get down like on all fours and just say this to him. And I'm like, fuck, right? It's horny, but there's a reason. The sexual nature of it is contrasted by how pure and cute it is. Chizuru is becoming more in touch with her adult and child side, right? The child side she's willing to show to Kazuya. And so doing, it contrasts Kazuya's sexual attraction, where Kazuya is not willing to show his child side. He's not willing to show his childish attraction. Because, like, horny shit is rooted in adulthood, but it comes from the little kid on the inside. We're horny. That's just instinctual. And with that being said, if you don't accept those feelings, you can't let them out. What the nursery arc did is it reflected the characters' lives back at them in interesting ways, and basically it reflected Chizuru's childhood back at her, and it let her accept her childhood, and it put Kazuya in an adult-like position, in so doing allowing him to accept an element of his adulthood. Then you come into an interesting element that is at play here. Now that they've confronted that side of themselves, what's interesting about how you grow and change as a person is you need to kind of look at the whole picture, not just half the picture. But you have to tackle half the picture in order to get to the whole picture, right? Contradictory, sure, but it's necessary. It's kind of how you move forward. It's complicated. Life is complicated. So sometimes, for example, a lot of people perceive therapy as you just tell the therapist all the negative thoughts and you let them out. That's actually a great starting point, but can also lead to stagnation. If you just keep letting those feelings out and you never do anything about it, you stagnate, nothing happens. But the first step is to let those feelings out. What Reiji is doing that I like here is that now that the characters have like started their first step, which is acknowledging their other half, Kazuya being an adult and Chizuru being more of a kid, Chizuru accepting her inner child, Kazuya accepting like the adult back into his life, now they need to accept the side of themselves that they do all the time, but they've come to dislike in some fashion. In this case, Chizuru's job is reflective of her adulthood, but she kind of hates that part of herself. In that same way, Kazuya doesn't like the kid on the inside, and I can show you that Reiji's playing directly into this in this little shot here. He's framed like he's tiny, cute, and adorable in this shot. That's intentional because these feelings of loyalty to Chizuru stem from like the little kid on the inside who's not acknowledging the adult nature of his horniness, right? So that's interesting because Reiji's essentially trying to strike a balance for these characters. In Kazuya acknowledging his horniness and his feelings and his jealousy towards Chizuru's job, he acknowledges how he feels. He's able to acknowledge the kid on the inside, the part of himself that's natural and he shouldn't feel bad about. Because remember, by the end of that arc, when he's around the kids, he's more himself, right? When he's around the kids, he's more himself. And Chizuru keeps getting this flashback of Kazuya smiling, right? You guys have been reading the chapters with me, you know what I'm talking about. The flashback where Kazuya is smiling and it's during the nursery arc. The reason she's getting that flashback constantly is because she wants him to do that with her. And she's trying to find out more about him so she can do that. That's why she goes and interacts with Kibe. In reality, what this arc did for Chizuru is kind of help her reclaim her agency by going the different direction. What I mean by this, Minnie essentially helped her go a different path. In going this different path that's not in the direct path she's used to and comfortable to, it led her to the scenario she wanted to be in. So she recognized she was being used and used that to her advantage, which is important for Chizuru, right? Like, it shows how she has fundamental control and agency over herself. This is her first time dressing as a bunny girl, and yet she is in complete control. Fundamental agency over who you are. This is something Reiji acknowledges in the earlier chapter, where when Minnie is interacting with Kazuya, she has complete control over her body. She doesn't let Kazuya's reactions dictate how she feels. In contrast, Kazuya becomes reactionary. The moment he sees her like that, he doesn't know how to act because he cannot acknowledge his horny feelings. This is intentionally supposed to contrast Paradise, where in Paradise, Kazuya would just embrace his horny feelings and he would do shit that like other people might not like, where he would Google Chizuru's ass underneath the water. That's silly and stupid, but it's part of human nature. All that matters is, did you bother these people? Did you make them feel uncomfortable? Chizuru embraces her body, her sexuality. She knows people look at her, and this is why she's able to comfortably dress as a bunny girl. In that same way, this is exactly what's going on with Minnie's character. She completely embraces her sexuality. She is who she is. She doesn't let other people define it for her. In that same way, they don't let their own lies dictate how they act. She's taking agency back and telling Kazuya about this. But the way she phrases it with the tiniest of details can lead to a misunderstanding in its own right, and that's what makes it cute. It's like that childlike nature can lead to misunderstandings, because when you talk to kids, it can lead to that kind of misunderstanding, right? It's adorable, it's cute, but that's exactly the point. It's contrasting the sexual nature that is rooted in adulthood because Chizuru's being an adult the entire time, and then here she's being a little kid. Kazuya is going to start embracing that and letting that out. And we have seen hints of this in some of the future images Reiji has shared, where Reiji has shown Kazuya, for instance, looking way more determined, way more focused, way more, I gotta do this, right? Like he seems like he got that determination he had before back. This is interesting because the nursery arc is Chizuru getting her determination back and Kazuya following in that path. Now the characters deviate from the path. They go a completely different way, and in so doing it'll help Kazuya find his determination again. There's also an interesting juxtaposition Reiji is playing at here, where Kazuya is all covered up. The whole point of Kazuya's costume is it's all covered up, contrasted by Chizuru, which is showing a lot of cleavage, very open. Chizuru looks very radiant and white here. Kazuya looks very black and hidden. He's kind of like a small black cat. The juxtaposition between the two of them, where Chizuru is very sexual in nature, Kazuya is very restrained and childlike. Kazuya is like covering up his feelings, and he's looking at Chizuru in horny ways. He's covering up like a kid, but he's dealing with adult topics. A lot of people will probably think like this is just, oh, fan service for the sake of fan service, but this is different, and it makes sense Kazuya would react like this. Like, imagine the girl you like dressing like a bunny girl. You'd lose it too. The double belt, what is this, Yu-Gi-Oh? This is the arc where Kazuya has his change, contrasted by Chizuru, who gets to be in the position she's usually in. But then how does Chizuru juxtapose that position when she's around Kazuya? And then look at him, he's so cute. Like, he doesn't realize how pure and adorable his thoughts are. Like, he's feeling horny towards this, but it's totally normal. The way he looks here, juxtaposed by how Chizuru looks here, is in itself cute. Like, they're both just like very cute, silly little kids, and I love them. They're an adorable fucking couple, okay? This was y'all's Christmas gift. For any of you who don't know, the reason the bunny girl thing is happening, if you go to Twitter, if you follow any artists, if you follow a decent amount of artists like I do on Twitter, you notice a lot of artists are posting bunny girls or bunny related things around the end of this year. The reason for this is because we're in the year of the rabbit for the zodiacs. There's yearly zodiacs. I explained this in my last video kind of briefly. There's yearly zodiacs, and we're currently in the year of the rabbit, so that's why we're getting so much bunny stuff. We're probably gonna get a lot of bunny girl stuff, whether it's sexual or not sexual. And so for many, the reward you're getting by the end of this year is bunny girl costumes, right? That's just gonna happen. You're gonna see artists put up bunny girl stuff. So if you're wondering why am I seeing all of this stuff, that's why. It's the end of the year of the bunny. With that being said, there is an interesting element at play here. I love how Minnie's clothes, the fashion that she gives Chizuru for her cosplay, finds a perfect balance between sexy and attractive, but not just outright like seduction, right? It's perfectly balanced. It's intentionally showing cleavage, intentionally highlighting her thighs, her curvature, her looks. Chizuru knows this, but she embraces it. At the same time, this is a very fashionable skirt. This is a very fashionable top. Like, the clothes are sexy, horny, intentionally designed to sexualize Chizuru, but there's a balance. There's a perfect balance in the clothes, and that's part of the theme here, finding a balance in one's sense of self. Last chapter, what Minnie does that's brilliant is that she has so much control over herself that it's conveyed in how she looks and how she dresses. She's not overtly sexualizing herself just to sexualize herself, but at the same time, she knows she's sexy. She knows she's attractive. That's why she takes photos. That's why she does all this stuff. She knows that's a selling point of her character, that she is attractive. This is a common discourse and argument you'll see. There's probably like a lot of weird men who are uncomfortable with the topic of sex, and so when they see women succeeding because they're attractive, they get bothered by that. In that same way, whenever we see attractive men being successful, it's like, oh, a part of that is like you're attractive. However, what this story is saying is you don't have to feel bad for being attractive, for using that to your own benefit. That is something you were gifted with. You chose to hone that, improve it as a skill, use it as a proper tool for yourself, and make money. There's nothing wrong with that. Minnie does this, but she personally finds a balance. She maintains her own character, but she uses her sexuality to her own benefit, to succeed. And this is conveyed through how Chizuru looks. Interestingly, at first when I was reading the chapter, I didn't quite realize what Kazuya was wearing, but Minnie's whole thing is a black cat. And this is why Kazuya is wearing a black cat hoodie. It's cute. I also have a black cat. His name is BB. In the same way, this is the point of the cover. The cover is meant to convey how Chizuru is a bunny. Kazuya is on the carrot, and she wants to eat the carrot. And we have the whole joke with Chizuru, where she has the whole carrot thing throughout the entire start of the cohabitation arc. This is important because Chizuru is essentially literally wearing her feelings on herself. It's meant to convey how she's being like her most honest self in a sense, because she's literally wearing the feelings she's had for a while on herself, and then it's literally conveyed through how she tells Kazuya the truth, how she doesn't lie, she just opens up to him. That's an important bit here, like Chizuru's embracing her side. I like how we start the chapter where it's like, it's just showing you the sheer scale of it, and how that scale contrast Chizuru and Kazuya. That's the whole idea. Rather than it being about the con itself, but what that means for Chizuru and Kazuya, how it juxtaposes them, and how Kazuya like stands out. He looks silly and goofy. Everybody's like staring at him, but he's kind of cute. Like Kazuya really kind of goes for that cute, silly, ridiculous vibe, but Chizuru is like sexy and cute, right? I like this shot a lot. I love this shot of just like how Chizuru walks in. There's an element of modesty and reservedness to how she's dressed, but it's also like embracing it, you know, too. And then it zooms in. Hey, don't leave me alone like that, Mini-chan. It's specifically about Minnie. This is a cute shot because this shot kind of conveys that element of purity to Chizuru's character in all of this. I also love the coloring choice for her design, where you have the black with the stars on it, then you have the white on the top. The perfect balance between white and black. And then the first thing Chizuru says to Minnie is, hey, don't leave me alone like that. She's like a little kid. She's adorable. The first thing you feel when you look at this is adorable, not simply sexy. And then you turn the page and boom, sexy. You get the curvature, you get all that intentionally so. Balance. Adorable, cute, childlike, adult, in control, sexy. And then even Kazuya becomes adorable, but then again, he's hidden in shadow. He's not shown. And it shows how Kazuya wants to look, but then he feels bad for looking. He's not embracing his sexual desires. Can I handle this? Can I do this, right? And I love how most of the chapter is Kazuya hidden in shadow. Shadow, shadow. The only time he's not hidden in shadow is like here and like the start of the chapter. Yeah, even here, he's kind of like, he has a hoodie. Fucking organization looking motherfucker. But yeah, most of it, he's not hidden in shadow. He feels uncomfortable, but it's only when Chizuru shows up that he starts being hidden in shadow. Heck, even what Chizuru says, we promised, like, it's so kid-like. It's so kid-like. That's perfect. Very wishful thinking, very dreamer-like. That's the whole idea, the juxtaposition between the two of them. Also, damn, I just noticed the curves here. Holy shit. And even more than that, Chizuru like comes down to Kazuya's level. She doesn't speak to him from above him, she comes down to his level. She speaks with him as equal. She speaks to him like they're equals, even if it means like getting down on her arms like that, like, oh damn. And that's the thing, Kazuya isn't inherently childish. He's not. But he has an inner child that he restrains and doesn't let out. And when he accepts his inner child, he's more himself. And so when Chizuru speaks to him through the childlike manner that she is now embracing, it allows him to embrace his childlike manner and be more true to who he is. She doesn't speak to him through the adult version of herself. She speaks to him through the childlike version of herself, the version she's restrained too. Interestingly enough, they're both restraining similar things, and in so doing, not embracing their full character. They're helping each other reclaim their autonomy so they can do it themselves when it counts. Now, I will point out, I love how Reiji designed Chizuru's bunny cosplay. It's perfect. Not just how it presents her, but how it contrasts her. Specifically, how her demeanor contrasts the cosplay itself. Chizuru completely embraces the cosplay, and she doesn't feel nervous when other people are looking at her. She is comfortable with her body. She defines how she feels. There's been a lot of instances of this throughout the story where, for instance, if you go back to the Isekaya arc, a lot of the dudes, when she walks into the arc, oogle her. And what Reishi does that's brilliant to me is he makes the words, like the bubbles, float around Chizuru. But she has her eyes closed. She's not looking at any of that. The only time she opens her eyes is when she interacts with Kazuya. It's meant to convey how Chizuru is in complete control of her body and how she feels. She doesn't let other people objectifying her define how she reacts to them. She owns her body. That element of choice, of agency, that's so important here. Just as Minnie owns her body, so does Chizuru. Chizuru has her eyes open and interacting with Kazuya, but when she interacts with other people, she's not actually interacting with these people. She's in control. She's smiling, she's happy, but she is just selling a product. Just as with rental, she's just selling a product. She's not actually close to these people. There's the fundamental element of disconnect. This doesn't make you a bad person. It's important to recognize this. It's a two-way thing. It's not just her. I constantly compare this to Chizuru's job of rental, but there's an inherent element that is core rooted to rental, and it's Chizuru's acting. She is an actress. A part of rental is an act. She knows how to improvise, adapt, learn quickly on the fly, which is why she's able to just quickly adapt to putting on the bunny girl costume. It shows control and agency over herself. She knows how to maintain confidence and control of the scenario and not lose herself. But when it's something personal, when it's in between her and Kazuya, she'll willingly tell him because she cares about him. She wants him to know. It's vulnerability you don't show to other people. It's a mask you put on to protect yourself. A mask worn in plain sight, intentionally similar to Minnie in the earlier chapter. The reason the whole thing with Minnie is framed the way that it is there is that Minnie is confident in herself. Minnie using every tactic, including sex, to her own benefit, shows her confidence in herself. Just as Chizuru's acting shows her own body positivity and her own confidence in herself, something that could be reflected back at Kazuya, so he has confidence in himself.
And so when we see Kazuya interacting with this, seeing how Chizuru is in full control of her agency, her autonomy over herself, it contrasts him and how he's struggling with his own autonomy, embracing his own feelings, voicing them out loud. I think this is the scene that expresses it perfectly. Kazuya looking at Chizuru, Mizuhara looks really good at that. She must be handling twice as much work as I am. Again, she's used to this, and you have this image here. Well, she's an actress, but maybe she's worn a bunny costume before. Minnie asks the question he was thinking. She lies to Minnie, but then she tells him the truth. Kazuya is not speaking his feelings out loud, which means it's setting up for Kazuya to open up about this stuff as well. And it's presented in the purest way possible through Chizuru opening up like this. It's intentionally supposed to juxtapose, she's been through this before, she's done this before, right? And Chizuru opening up to him in such a pure way about something like that, it'll help him open up too, to let out his feelings too, in something that might not be as pure as that. And that's okay. And I think that element of sincerity juxtaposed by your own negativeness is important, because Chizuru in 2 chapters ago was feeling negative because someone else was being too sincere to her, and yet here she is being very pure and sincere and cute as shit, right? It's really adorable. And that's the whole idea, that juxtaposition between debauchery, is that how you say it? Debauchery and modesty. And what that means, because in reality, the human character is in the middle. We're in the middle between debauchery and modesty. Like, you having sexual desires does not make it bad, right? It's that simple. Just as the nature of this shot is literally the characters being in the middle. Like the whole framing of this shot is they're both kind of in the middle. But I love what Reiji does here is he doesn't focus on how other people are looking at her. He doesn't focus on that because that's just normal. Instead, it focuses on Chizuru herself, what she thinks, what she feels. It's about her own autonomy. He literally frames it that way intentionally. It's not about the other dudes looking at her. In fact, it's the other girls looking at her. The other girls are looking at her and they feel a little inferior to her. Dudes are almost cut out in this picture. In fact, it's about Kazuya's feelings. Kazuya and Chizuru's characters, they are the centerpieces of this image, not anybody else, because the whole theme of this chapter is agency and autonomy. Presentation and the art literally mirrors the story itself. Reiji pays attention to both the narrative and the art, not just one or the other. The art just happens to convey the feelings very well. Like, you understand what he's going for when you see the fishnets and how they're curving on the thighs, you know, you get that, you get it, you're like, damn, I kind of get where Kazuya's coming from, that's sexy as shit. And that way, you kind of get where these girls who are staring at Chizuru come from, especially this, like, poor bunny girl who's just like, oh no, she's completely usurped me. And then again, zooms in on the thighs, and big chunky thighs, nice. Everybody's having a good time, right? It's like you get that feeling, but then you also have the meaning behind it. Heck, you see it in what Kazuya says here. Am I okay? Can my body handle this? Does Kazuya have control over his own body, autonomy over himself, juxtaposed by how Chizuru has complete autonomy over herself? And a lot of shonen manga
actually struggle with this idea of like the female character leading instead of the male character, and how the male character can learn from that. So the next time is, what are you doing? So here are my multitude of predictions. So let's go with one I initially thought made a lot of sense, but now I'm kind of leaning away from it. And that one is, I think Mommy might text Kazuya, what are you up to? But I kind of think that's not gonna happen, at least not until this arc really ends. It's not gonna happen in the middle of the arc, as the whole theme with Mommy's character is she's stagnating and she doesn't see a way out. So it'd be kind of weird for her to move. One I'm kind of currently leaning towards is Minnie shows up and she sees the two below the desk and she's like, what are you doing? Which makes a lot more sense and ends up being a lot funnier. It also feels like them being caught in the middle of a love affair when they should be working. Minnie probably gets a smug smirk. Now she maybe has something more over Chizuru. See how that works? Kazuya could immediately react to Chizuru, to what she's saying right now, and in the process Chizuru asks him, what are you doing? To her, it's probably just like, it's just a bunny outfit, why are you freaking out? Because Kazuya didn't fully grasp the context. This is something we've seen happen before in Paradise. The what are you doing could also be something kind of smaller and cute. It could just be Chizuru asking Kazuya, what are you up to? Like, what you doing right now? Something like that. Just something cute, just like small talk, something these characters tend to kind of struggle with, which would be interesting in its own right. Another one could be maybe she ends up asking him, what do you think of my bunny cosplay? Especially considering she went out of her way to tell him it's her first time wearing a bunny cosplay. Of course she would want to know what he thinks. In fact, this one I'm 100% certain about. This just makes too much sense, especially thematically speaking, for the character's desires and feelings. Like Chizuru wants to know what kind of things Kazuya likes, so naturally she would want to know if Kazuya likes a bunny costume. In that same way, Kazuya has a lot of thoughts and feelings regarding the bunny costume and how Chizuru herself looks, and would want to compliment that, something that is correlated to his agency. And we've seen images of this from Reiji's threads. This definitely looks like one of those scenes where Chizuru is asking Kazuya or getting complimented by Kazuya, and this is kind of her reaction to that information or to asking that question. Heck, the birthday is the closest thing to this, as it was a gift from Sumi that Chizuru put on, that now she wants to know what Kazuya thinks about when she put her effort into it. In that same way, this is something Minnie gave her. Chizuru put some effort into it, and now she wants to know what he thinks of her bunny costume. It makes a lot of sense. And one of the things I'm looking forward to, and I kind of feel like is going to happen, is I could see Chizuru telling Minnie by the end of this, I'd like to go to another con with you in the future, or I'd like to come back to this with you in the future. If you ever need help, let me know. Something like that. I think that would be really cute, and it ends up mirroring the nursery arc intentionally, where Chizuru got to experience something with Kazuya that she wants to go back to again, and now she experienced something with Minnie that she wants to go back to again. Two new events she gets to spend with the people that she loves and cares about. And this final shot here essentially tells us what the next year is going to be like. The cute, adorable nature of it, of her just whispering in his ear, makes it feel childish, small, like something between a young couple, something that just makes your heart explode. The shit that gets you excited, makes your heart tingle. This is what Reiji is essentially telling us, that these characters will have a form of trust and openness with each other that's going to be unlike anything we've seen before, breaking down these barriers not just for each other but themselves. A year that they're going to claim for themselves. Trust each other and learn to act on that trust. The year ends with the characters literally reclaiming control of who they are, not lying to each other about the important parts of themselves. Chizuru choosing not to lie to Kazuya about something that might seem trivial to us but is important to her. Not lying to herself and not lying to him. Essentially telling us we're gonna be removing a lot of these lies. It's an amazing way to end the year, and really sets the tone for what kind of fun we're gonna be having next year. With that said, I'm looking forward to 2024. I hope you guys enjoyed what I had to say. If you did, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell icon, all that fun stuff. Like I mentioned, we do have a break next week, so we won't be getting another chapter until next year. I know some people have heard that the story might be ending, especially because Reiji posted that thing. I made a video about that. You're welcome to go check that out. I kind of shared some of my thoughts. I think even if the story does reach a conclusion anytime soon, I don't think it's gonna end. I think he'll keep it going in some fashion. In that same way, I do think something's gonna spark between these two soon, especially considering we're moving quickly, things are happening, and Reiji reintroduced Mommy's character. With that being said, hope you guys had a great Christmas, Happy New Year, and I'll see you guys soon, hopefully. Hopefully before the year ends. If not, this might be the last video for the year. With that being said, remember, let's mosey.